Hey, 8th graders, this will be the last video, I promise. Now, I'm hoping you and your portrait of science is complete and you've posted that onto your new Google site, and that you also posted your new web link down here and submitted this document right here. Now, you may have noticed I'm kind of a fan of these picture collages because back on your Google Classroom, you may have noticed at each heading, there are a bunch of science related photos. Now, maybe this is my little plug for Star Wars, but the reason that I do this is that when you open up to your science classroom, you know what? Does this get your thinking going a little bit? Right? Does it spark your curiosity? So when you open up your own digital science notebook and you see the photos that you picked, hopefully it gets you thinking a little bit. Okay. Now, it may or may not be related to what we're talking about, but it sparks your interests. Instead of just a bland background, you're like, another boring website. So keep it specific to your interests. Change it up if you want to. Anyway, last part, I want you to go back to your digital science notebook, Google site, and you may have done so already because you may have noticed I have another link here. It's called Nature of Science. So again, I want you to create another page here if you didn't already. Let's call it Nature of Science. This is like a first little mini unit. What I want you to do in Nature of Science, and you can actually mess around with this tab. You can keep it here. You can remove it. I'm just going to make this title only, so you may see that or not. Again, copy exactly what I have here. And what you'll notice is on my page, I have this bold red heading that's here. And to do that, I think that's really nice because we're going to be making frequent journal entries here. If you click on text and you click on this little paint palette right here, you can click on emphasis, and that outlines the text. And even though I don't really like this color, I'm not a fan, it'll make it a nice heading for us. So again, you'll just copy and paste this right into yours. And this is going to be our first journal entry that you're going to record next. And I'd also want you, when you create another text box down here, you're simply just copying and pasting what I have here. So I'm just going to copy this, paste. And you're going to ultimately delete what I just pasted in here, but these are instructions to guide what your journal entries should look like. Now, the question that you have here is, what are the qualities of a good scientist? So keep in mind that while you're in a science class, you are also a scientist. When you're in the natural world and you're in the real world outside, you are a scientist. You're curious. You're a thinker. You think through problems. So you, in a way, are a scientist. So just going off of what you think, how have you practiced science before? What does a good scientist look like? Now, down below, this is where you are going to type in your response. So before deleting all this, I would insert some more text down here. And this is where you're going to type your response. After you're done, you can delete this. And you delete text boxes just by clicking this right here. Okay. And again, if you're like, oops, I didn't want to do that yet, just Control Z. That's the automatic undo, or there's just, undo up here, or redo. Undo, redo. Okay, delete that, undo. It's back. Now look at these bullet points closely. Write in complete sentences. Don't start your answer with it. You're going to notice that's a pretty big pet peeve of mine. So don't start with it. No. Write these in your own words. Now, I don't mind sometimes, save with your table partner. If you are conversing about, what do you think a good scientist is? Remember, these should be your own words. There shouldn't be any copying and pasting. It's pretty obvious when answers have been copied from another website, whether it's a classmate or whether it's on some professional site elsewhere. The texts are often different. Oh, there's a lot of differences, and I can tell over time if it's your writing or not, so just don't do it. And it leaves a big hole in your education. Say if you're doing a lab assignment and you're thinking, I can just get the answers from my lab partner. Hey, lab partner, can I see that? Oh, sure, here you go. And you just write in what they have. That leaves a significant hole in your learning. Same thing goes for these journal entries. If you're just taking answers from someone else, yeah, you might get it done quicker. Well, done. But you are also hurting your own education, right? Because when an assessment test, quiz comes, you're going to be in trouble. So just think with your own words here. Now, when you're done, you can delete this. Make sure too, because for me to be able to see what you've included, you have to click publish. So make sure that whenever you make any edits on your site, especially these journal entries, you click publish. It'll still save it to your Google Drive if you don't, but I can't see it if you don't click publish. So please make sure you do that. Now, when you're done making your own entry here, and I'd expect a few sentences here. It shouldn't just be qualities of a good scientist include showing up on time. Yeah, that's good, but what else? All right, and you shouldn't put that. That's to be expected, just an example. So go in depth here. When you're thinking a scientist, what comes to mind? Describe it. Now, when you're finished with your response, talk to your table partner about it. Ask when you're writing or reading their writing, go through these questions. Are they in complete sentences? Did they use it at the beginning of sentences? Right? Is it in their own words? And again, is the description confusing or vague? You know, if it is, you might want to consider rewriting this. What you can also do is go back to your resources page. Go through these bullet points. Remember, we had already dated this. You should use proper spelling. We're not using pictures for this. All right, again, don't use it. Remember, this is your chance to be creative, to explore, to explain, and all these other great descriptions here. This is your site. Make it specific to you and your learning. Okay? Email me if you have questions on this. And again, don't forget to click publish.